Hey everybody! If you clicked on this video, spoilers are okay with you. If you don't want to be spoiled and you just want a quickie review, just of kind of yes or no, please click here or here, wherever it shows up at, for our quickie review of Rings. If you're still here, spoilers are okay with you. So, full spoiler, why don't you crack at first? This
There's
tour de force.
There's so many things with this movie. There's a lot of jump scares, for one. I mean, not jump scares like they come out like... It's a lot of sound jump scares. Like a lot of... Like the music has a lot to do with... Like if the music wasn't there, I don't think it would have frightened you as much. Or I don't think it would have been as scary. But I think the music and the score of the movie had a lot to do with like the scary parts of it. I definitely felt like it dragged. Like it was so... The story was so slow. And just the decisions... Again, the decisions made by the characters, I just didn't agree with. Like you have... First of all... God. So many things.
So here's my thing. When it comes to horror movies. It's very tiring to see the same tropes and the same things happening in every horror movie over and over again. So horror movies nowadays is the bad guy wins movie.
Yeah.
It's no way to fight the thing. They run the whole movie. They're trying not to get hurt, killed by this demon / ghost / whatever horror thing it is. And nothing ever gets resolved. There's no way to fight it. There's no way to win. They always lose. The movie always teases you with, they might survive, they might get away, something might happen, but it never does. They always lose. And they do that so they can have some sort of a sequel, because I would guess that they're too dumb to know how to write a story that can give them sequels without having to have the bad guy win. So
yeah, well, and I think it's repetitive. Like this movie is definitely repetitive in let's find Samara, let's find her body. Like you already established that in movie 1, where you found her, you supposedly saved her, and then at the end of movie 1 they were like, well, no, it's not the end. They didn't have any of the movie 1 characters at all. So the ending of movie 1, if I remember correctly, it had the girl like still, like she made the copy, or the kid made the copy of the movie, and then now I don't know, I didn't really like the fact that I don't know if anybody out there has seen the Japanese version of The Grudge, but they have The Grudge 2, where the character, the evil ghost person, ends up being reborn, or given an actual body or whatever. And I think like that this movie took a lot of that movie. Like it definitely took a lot of the story where she's like reborn and she's coming back for real, and it's like, well, I mean, why all those visions of burning my body and doing all these things if you're just gonna be...
Yeah, as if you don't get the reference, how the movie plays out basically is this girl's boyfriend watches the tape because his college professor finds it at a flea market garage sale type thing, watches it, and he's a professor on like human behavior and like afterlife and things like that. So he creates this experiment and starts making people watch the tape. Pretty much. Because how the lore goes is if you watch the tape, make a copy of it, and make somebody else watch it, you don't no longer die in 7 days, and somebody else does. And then they won't as long as they pass it on, and so on and so forth.
But that point, that was established in movie 1, and she did it by accident. So I don't know, like they never established how he knew about that, like about making a copy and saving your life that way.
They just jumped into it that he just knew it.
And like how he just, and then the thing is like he just found it at the flea market, and it was inside a VCR. First of all, who buys a VCR in 2017?
Yeah.
One.
And so after he starts doing this, he stops talking to his girlfriend. So the girlfriend goes down to his college where he's at, tries to find him, and that's when the story unfolds. And she basically she watches the tape to save her boyfriend and starts seeing visions of Samara. Long story short, she finds Samara's body. She's doing what Samara wants her to do. She finds Samara's father, helps Samara kill him, And at the end of the movie, she thinks, "Oh, I'm okay," but no, Samara
It's
is
like
actually
taking
jumped
her
inside her
over.
body, and now she's like taking her over.
Which they also never established or never like talk about why she was like the chosen one. Like she has no, from what we can see in the movie, has no connection between herself and Samara. There's nothing there to establish like why this person, because if Samara apparently knows her name specifically and just calls her, what is it, Julia. And like she knows her, so what makes this character so special from like the other billion ones?
She's not special, because the movie then tells you that Samara had tried to have, I think,
12
like
people,
12 or 14 other people do what she did in the movie,
but then
they keep failing.
But you have a gazillion, or that's exaggerating, but you have like hundreds of people who've already died from this film.
Yeah.
And none of them, out of 100, you have 12 people who were, but like, why? I think that's my question.
But also, I'm not a huge fan of sequels.
Yeah.
So it's a thin line, right? So if a sequel happens and they kind of stick to the same exact formula and don't change anything, only some movies in history have gotten away with that, with them still being good because they were still written well. Prime examples of movies that do not do that are, for instance, Superman 3 for terrible sequels. An instance of them going right. Aliens by James Cameron. What I mean by that is that it's a horror movie that goes from this first one, which is very suspenseful and dark and scary, and in the second one, he says, "Okay, I'm an intelligent director." The audience has already waited in the first movie an hour and 50 minutes before they even saw the alien, and everything else up to that point was just pure suspense and jump scares. You can't do that with a sequel. You can't make the audience wait another hour and something. Then you're like, "Oh, this is what Samara. Here comes Samara." And that's what this movie does. This movie, pretty much, you see a fraction of Samara at the beginning, and then through the tape you see her, and then you see another fraction and I think it's about 30, 40 minutes in, and then you see her at the end of the movie. That's ridiculous. This is the third movie in the franchise.
Yeah.
That movie should have been 20 to 30 minutes setup, and the rest of the movie Samara. It should have been just her doing something different or coming at it a different way, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, in its defense, and it's very, very little defense, is they did kind of do something different with this movie where she does interact with other people, so to speak. So like in the beginning with the plane, she ends up not just being focused on him, but she ends up causing like a plane crash. And I guess in that way, she's like interacting with other people. It's not just focused on one person.
Well,
like
see,
she interacts with Julie, kind of.
But she doesn't. She doesn't really interact with those people because what she means is the flashbacks and the plane crash. Again, doesn't make sense to the lore at all, because the lore, what she does is it's established that only the person who's about to die can see her, and they establish this numerous times throughout the movie, where the main character is seeing something and no one else is seeing it. And so she causes hallucinations that are to that person. So on the plane crash at the beginning of the movie, when they do the open, this kid watches the tape, and then somebody on the plane happens to have seen the tape years before and passed it on. And she is freaking out because she finds out, like, "Oh, did you make the copy? Did you make the copy?" And asking him questions, and then Samara appears out of this black goo. And she doesn't really appear. The black goo comes out of the toilet. They shoot to the cockpit, and from the cockpit controls, you see Samara's hand coming out, and then it cuts. And again, it doesn't show you anything, which doesn't make sense.
A lot of plot
because no one else would be seeing Samara except for the dude. And how Samara kills you, she looks at you. As soon as she looks at you, like you get drained of your life force and fucking crumple over as like a goddamn ghoul or something. And that's it. Why the plane crashed? No clue. No, it's a huge plot hole. They wanted some like extra, "Ooh, she made the plane crash. Things are different." No, they're not. The same rules apply through the rest of the movie. So like
there's a lot of things that were just weird fun. Like some of it was funny just if you're me, I guess, but it was very typical horror movie, very typical, not different in any way. Like bad guy wins for whatever reason. So yeah, I still stick to my
Yeah.
like rating of it. It's not something that you need to go see, or it's not a horror movie that's gonna, be amazing. I mean, if you just want to kill time, literally, then go see this movie. But
Yeah, just not good.
yeah, I didn't expect much from it, and I didn't get much from it. So, very typical. Ugh. No, I didn't like it.
This movie makes you want to watch the Japanese Grudge versus Rings.
Yeah, I want to see
So
that
Samara versus the Grudge Girl. So I'm probably
It's
gonna
a
watch
slap
that
fight.
later. Yeah, That's probably gonna be a 10 times better movie. But yeah, that was our review, our full review with spoilers for Rings. Again, in case you didn't know, it's garbage. Please like and subscribe below.
That's our rating from
That's
it's
my
garbage.
rating. It's
full garbage.
Full garbage. So like and subscribe below. Again, any comments, anything you want to see us review in the future, anything you want to discuss, please mention down below.
Give us any suggestions on anything you want us to review.
Absolutely.
If you have, we do more than just movies. I think.
Yeah,
We do
look,
subscription boxes. Let me know.
Movies, subscription boxes, games. So we're uploading as fast as we can. Again, because I'm a new editor, so it takes me a little bit. All right, guys.
Bye.